Hi everyone, welcome to my channel for some Guardium collectors administration considerations based on my experience as professional services with IBM and my recent practical experience at AIM, where I manage by myself about 50 collectors without this taking more than 10 to 20% of my time. This video is the second one of this installment, which is about maintaining a balanced environment, or in other words, handling overloaded collectors. In the previous video, we looked at how to detect overloaded collectors and how to make a list of them. So now, once you've done that, you need to determine the contribution of each server or agent to the collectors, and in order to be able to do a reassignment of agent to different collectors. Then we've seen that the Boom Buffer Usage Monitor report is an excellent tool to give you a list of the to detect the overloaded collectors. However, unfortunately, it's only global statistics and doesn't give you any breakdown per agent. For that, we need to look elsewhere, and there are two places. One we discussed in the previous video, which is IPTraf, and the second one, it's at the MySQL level, and it's what kind of statistical report to count the number of SQL recorded per agent, which is gonna give us some idea of the contribution of each agent. So it's from an software architecture standpoint in the collectors, it looks like that. Then the different agents sent data to the collector, which are captured with the neck, go through the process, through the sniffer process, right, and which produce data which gets recorded into MySQL, and so we can extract from and compute from this mass of data and of basically recorded SQL, make counts of those records and per collectors, and per agent. Then I'm going to show you the kind of dashboard we can create, and we create using ELK, which is Elasticsearch and Kibana, based on once it's fed with data from these, right? So we've got a way to centralize and process the data, extract data from here and put them on a central place. Now, these are explained in a previous video, so I'm not gonna show it again, but I'm gonna just here to show you the result. Once I've done that, I'm gonna show you the challenges this solution present, because in terms of architecture, it's really a major involvement, and the Boom is easy to centralize and enrich. When it comes to the data here, it's a different story, because the amount of data is absolutely not the same. So let's go for the data for the demo for now. So here, this is a dashboard of data extracted from different collectors, about SQL information extracted from different collectors, and per servers and per agent. And this is you can get when you extract and centralize those data into a elk instance. And once again, I have not I presented how we do that for the boom in a previous video. Then here I'm going to discuss how to do that for basically full SQL and SQL in general after showing the result you can get. But basically here you've got information about the number of records you've got regarding each collector and each server, and it gives you an idea of the contribution of each one. Then here we see that those two ones are the biggest one, right? And we've got some information here, basically metadata. Then if we look at collector 2, then we're going to look at this one. It's here, right? So now when I do that, then I know that there are two servers that send data to this one, and they are all those servers or agents handling MySQL traffic. Then here we've got time series. This is a test data, and it's a little bit limited, but you get the idea. Then here, and you've got a breakdown of each for each agent, and you can see that this one is the one sending the most traffic, right? Then it's you may, for example, if this one is the one that is this collector 2 is the one being overloaded, you may either decide to remove and redirect altogether this server to one or two other collectors, or you can decide to just provide a kind of partial relief on this collector by redirecting server 2. It may actually be enough. Then let's look at the other collector, this one. So this one is a little bit more, I will not say interesting, but it receives traffic from two different type of databases, right? Which is not something I would recommend, but it happens, and you can even look at because I think it's better to assign a collector, to assign agents of the same type, collecting the same kind of database traffic to a given collector. But here you can see that you see exactly what you do, and you can see the contribution of each one. Once again, those are test data, and they are not. It's what's a little bit the same. It's in reality it doesn't occur that way. But so now you can make a decision. For example, you say, I don't want the MySQL agent, the agent collecting MySQL traffic to be on this collector. I want to reserve this collector to DB2. So this becomes, and if this collector is currently the one overloaded, then redirecting the agent on server 21 to a MySQL a collector receiving MySQL collector data, it may be an option, of course, if this destination collector has room. Then we just saw how we can use the DAM data, which are made of the SQLs recorded, to get a sense of the contribution of each agent to the load of an appliance. Okay. Then instead of using the boom report, we use the data collected and recorded into MySQL. And this is a major difference, a major change, because the volumes at hand with the boom on one hand and the MySQL data stored in MySQL. On the other hand, it's absolutely not the same thing. So when we talk about SQL recorded in MySQL, the volumes are just huge. Okay, so but this is what allowed us to get a sense of the contribution of each agent to the load of an appliance. So how did we achieve that? Okay, so let's go back to the boom and what we did, and see if we can do something similar for the DAM data. Okay, so if we look at from a boom standpoint, the standard setup for Guardium, it looks like that, right? Each collector generates its own boom data and ships them to the CM. So what we did with the boom was, instead of sending to the CM, which you still can do, we sent it to ELK instance, where we enrich the data, and we display and work on the enriched data. So basically with CT22 add-on, right, which is this yellow piece, what you get, it's not only centralization, right, but you get enrichment, and we've seen that enrichment is quite crucial. So now, can we do something a bit similar with the DAM data? So if we look at the standard and setup from a DAM data perspective for Guardium, then we see that the agent collects the DAM data, which is the traffic, and it gets more or less aggregated into aggregators with these issues that the aggregators, you may end up having several if your company is a bit large, right? So you don't have the centralization. So therefore, you want probably something like that, right? So instead of sending to aggregators, which are multiples, right, you want to send that to a central instance. And this is basically what Sonargy and Guardium Insight offer you. So what we did was to extract only a part of the data stored, a part of the DAM data, right? Then that way we get an amount of data which is manageable, smaller, right? And this is amount of data we sent using some Guardium standard procedure, sent to a ELK instance, and there we enrich it heavily, actually, because it's not only the boom is just one data we enrich. The collector here with the full SQL data, it's much more. It's a server, client, DB user, type of SQL, etc., which are explained in other videos. And once it's enriched, this is what we can work with. Then, what is the part of the SQL traffic we use? Then, if you look at what Guardium does, then Guardium, in terms of DAM data collected by Guardium, then there are four main parts, right? Then there are the sessions, which are the logging and the connection time, which is basically telling you who connected and when, right? And you got instance and full SQL, where you've got the SQL recorded two different ways, but basically it's telling you what was done by those people who connected. Then Guardium in instance record the SQL in a grouped manner, because it's a SQL but with a count per session and per hour, and or as full SQL. In this case, the individual SQLs are recorded. And finally, the fourth part is the exceptions, which are basically the failed logins and the and the SQL errors. When it comes to us at Context 22, then what we did was to take only a part of the full SQL. Right? We don't consider the rest. We are focusing on this part of a specific part of the full SQL, which is SQLs extracting sensitive data. And what we can say, it's a smaller part, but it's representative enough of the global traffic to give a good sense of the proportion in the traffic of each agent. Then, as you can imagine, we didn't develop this full SQL enriched module for just helping manage appliances and their load, right? Because it's a lot of effort anyway. Then originally we developed this module to offer a workbench for security analysis of the DAM traffic, right? But we can use the data generated by this module for looking and analyzing the load of appliances. So, which means basically when you get this module, full SQL enriched module, you get two functions, right? So the security analysis functionality was presented in several articles on LinkedIn and in videos on the CT22 YouTube channel, and I refer you to them. We keep developing this security capability because it's really what we want to bring on the table, right? Which is security analysis of the DAM traffic, and currently we are focusing on time series analysis and predictive analysis. But the point is that you get two functions for one module. Then, when you get the two enriched module from CT22, right, you end up with this kind of architecture, right? Whereas you've got the DAM data and the boom data extracted from the collectors and shipped to a ELK instance where they get enriched using metadata, and you end up with an enriched version of those data. Now, if you add this functionality on top of existing Guardium standard infrastructure, you end up with something like that, right? So, the boom data got to the add-on, but the DAM data go to two places. As before, on the standard Guardium environment, goes to aggregator, and a part of those data go to the enrichment module of CT22, which takes us to we need to clarify the functionality of each component, which we do here. Okay, so you've got here the list of components of the system and the functionality. So the Guardium agent captures the traffic, they do that very well. So keep doing that. Collectors, Guardium collectors parse and store the traffic, they do that very well. They keep doing it. Guardium aggregator, which I know are considered and are probably difficult appliance to manage, they keep having the functionality of reporting for auditing. And this is where we've got what CT22 is about. It's about security and not auditing. So our module, right, is not to replace the aggregators and to replace the existing reporting and for auditing capabilities. It's to bring a new functionality, which is the security analysis of database traffic. Then, Context22, the aggregator stay for what they are and do, which is reporting for auditing. Your auditor call you, and you can get the data they want. But this is not security, right? You need something else for security. Then, Context22 add-on Enrich Boom, it's for the management of appliance, and Context22 add-on Enrich Full SQL, it's firstly for the security analysis, but you can piggyback basically, right, and take advantage of it to get very insightful and meaningful and useful information about that are going to help you managing the appliances and the agents. And finally, Guardium Central Manager, you have to keep using for configuring appliances and agents. Then this is where you manage the stuff with the game, pushing the agent, pushing policies, and pushing groups data and so forth. This means that in terms of architecture, starting from a standard Guardium infrastructure and architecture, you've got some options in terms of evolution, right? Then you've got basically two approaches. One approach, right, is to keep the aggregators, and you are not moving to Synergy or Insight because you cannot for whatever reason, right? And in this case, the Context22 add-ons work really as add-on to Guardium data protection, right? Then it's a quick return on appliance administration due to the ease of deployment of those add-ons. The aggregator stay centered on reporting for auditing, right? Then I know that they are difficult to manage, but for having managed them, many of those over the year, it's still possible to get them to work, right? So it's a little bit tricky sometimes, it's true, but it's you can get them to work. So, and you get a platform, workbench for security analysis, right? So you can definitely start security analysis, which Guardium per se doesn't offer much. So therefore, Context22 add-on is a gateway to security analysis, in addition to be a very helpful way of managing your appliances and agents. Now, the second approach, right, is to use Context22 as a path to Synergy or Guardium Insight, because Context22 add-on basically works like a prototype for the migration. Sorry, it's a prototype for the migration. So you can test the enrichment because you need enrichment. So it's raw data, it's not enough. You need to enrich the data. So you have a way to test that easily in a simple way. Yeah, you get the same quick return on appliance, right, while discussing and figuring out your migration to Synergy or Insight, and you can't port those enrichment consideration, right, to Sonar and or Insight, right? So that way you basically you help yourself in the path to Synergy and Insight. This takes us to the end of this presentation. So if you have any question, you can ask us at info@context22.com, and you can also look at our website context22.com, where we have a more detailed presentation of our offering in terms of product and in terms of consulting, because as you can see, we offer not only tools but a method on how to manage Guardium environment, as well as consulting and tools for security analysis. Thank you for your attention.